Good evening and thanks for joining us. More Canadians are getting a sense of the new normal as several provinces begin to cautiously reopen parts of the economy. But as that happens, Canada reached another milestone. The number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Canada has now surpassed 60,000. More than 3,800 people are known to have died from it. Here's how the numbers break down across the country. There are no new cases in several provinces today. New Brunswick, for example, has had no new cases for 16 days. It has had no deaths and has 0 active cases now. And Nunavut announced today its only case was actually a false positive.
In some places, the epidemic has been brought under good control, and the time is right for cautious reopening. Other areas of the country may not be quite there yet, but will follow.
Quebec and Ontario are still the worst. There are 370 new cases in Ontario today and the deaths of 84 more people. Quebec recorded 758 new cases today and 75 more deaths. Quebec's premier is now pushing back the date to reopen non-essential businesses in the Montreal area. Here's what you always have to keep in mind. The numbers we're seeing now reflect what happened 2 weeks ago. That is the incubation period. And no one wants to see those numbers start to rise again. As Eric Sorensen reports, it's a delicate balance of benefit versus risk.
In Quebec, COVID-19 remains stubbornly active, but businesses like this bike shop were more than ready to reopen.
You can see everybody that's more like the smile and everybody's happy and the l'ambiance is really nice.
La Chute, Quebec is like many communities in the country. The virus outbreak was limited, but the economic impact was huge.
It was very, very painful financially, because there's no revenue. The business is completely closed.
Ontario remains cautious. A few businesses, like car dealerships, have reopened, and garden centres. May is a crucial sales period.
We hope to make it through the year. We think we'll make it through the year because we're a grower as well as a retailer.
Ontario says it can open further soon because it has finally increased testing to more than 16,000 tests per day.
Indeed, expanding testing is critical to containing and limiting the spread of this new virus.
In Manitoba, malls have reopened. Groups up to 10 can congregate. Restaurant patios are serving. They're emerging from lockdown with some confidence in a province with very few COVID-19 cases.
It's wonderful, a little bit apprehensive because we've had no customers for a month and a half now, but we've taken a lot of precautions.
Public health officials across the country are cautiously embracing the shift from lockdown to reopening.
So slowly, carefully, see what happens and then do the next step, I think, is a characteristic of all of the plans.
Back in Quebec, the Montreal area remains a hotspot. Businesses scheduled to open there next week will be delayed now till May 18th.
I think it's extremely important for these provinces to be mindful of where they're at right now on their epidemic curve and decide if it's really appropriate for them to open up or not.
One concern is the lag time in detecting the spread of the virus. The economy may continue to reopen before we learn whether it's spurring a new wave of infections. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.
We're all longing to get back to some kind of normal, but what that will look like is still taking shape. Some kind of physical distancing seems inevitable. Manitoba has gone farthest in loosening restrictions, including opening restaurant patios today. Mike Drolet gives us a glimpse into the new reality at restaurants.
Like every other restaurant, Rudy's Burgers in Toronto has had to adapt. No more inside seating, leaving customers to physically distance on the street. Unlike so many struggling restaurants, the changes have worked at Rudy's. So well, in fact, that they don't see themselves opening their doors until a vaccine is available.
We're not anticipating that there's going to be anybody coming into our restaurants anytime soon. The model that we have now is for takeout and delivery, and we see this as the model for the short term anyway.
Recent polling by Ipsos found that 71% of Canadians are staying away from restaurants and coffee shops. It's a staggering and terrifying number for an industry that's built on people being close to family and friends. If that essence is taken away from it, will the new reality look like this?
Well, we are off the playbook.
Pollster Daryl Bricker has just released Next, a book forecasting future demographic trends in Canada. Society will go back to normal, he says, but it will take time. How fast has less to do with government rules as it does with us.
The idea, though, that human beings are somehow toxic and you have to be able to manage your physical relationship to them is a pretty strong idea. We'll have to see how quickly people are able to get over that.
In a restaurant that just reopened in Bangkok, a table of 4 now seats 2, with a plastic divide down the middle. And everything the staff does is geared towards physical distancing and safety.
So let's just pour some in.
Toronto blogger Yashy Murphy goes out at least twice a week with her family. At least they used to. Change, she says, is inevitable. But she believes Canadians are resilient enough to change as well.
So yes, can I go out and eat with my friends? I'd love to be able to do that. It was a big part of our life. But if it just means just the 4 of us going out, then so be it. I'll take whatever we can.
Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.
The new series that goes inside the COVID-19 pandemic, from the front lines to the everyday heroes helping us cope with the unprecedented change. Coronavirus, the new reality. A Global News special, Sundays at 7 on Global.